Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 5, Episode 112. It is Wednesday morning, and just leaving home. And it is early. It looks like it's going to be a sunny day. It rained all night. Looks like it's going to be a cooler day. Right now it's 60 degrees outside, which is not terrible. And I see someone's been messing with my mirrors in my car. I have to talk about that later. And today's going to be a longer trip, finally. Of course, I was out of town last week, so back to the grind this week. And we're going to have to stop almost at our destination because we need to get some fuel. Actually, not fuel. We'll get fuel on the way home. We need to get, we have a meeting to attend. And as of right now, it looks like we're going to be 19 minutes shy of our destination when the meeting starts, but it's a 4-hour trip, so we could make that 19 minutes up. I'm not sure if it's counting rush hour traffic in the area that we're going to or anything like that, so we'll see what happens as we get closer. Worst case, we pull over. I would love to be at the casino and do the meeting in the parking lot there, but we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, so today's Wednesday. The idea was maybe to do an overnight tonight, but I'm not sure if I'm going to or not. It's going to depend on conditions, so this could be a longer day. If I do an overnight, then I would come back Thursday afternoon, then check in at work Friday morning, and then go on a longer trip on Friday into Friday evening. So it could be a long couple of days here coming up. So we'll see about that. Yesterday, it was the same as Monday. One okay to poor session, and then 1-0 session, and then a little bit of play online. So yesterday the play online didn't go as well. I did make a small loss. But, overall I do pretty well on those. It's just opportunities everywhere are slim, and we are making some necessary changes. So right now, I'm going to sit back and relax, enjoy my next 4 hours driving, and I'll get my laptop turned on in a few hours for the workday, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back, and we're about an hour and a half out from our first stop of the day, and we have caught up on timing-wise. Right now we're only minus 4 minutes, so I just got to catch up 4 more minutes in the next hour. I know it's going to be harder to do that here because the speed limit's a lot higher, and it doesn't look like there's any kind of traffic that could clear up or anything like that, but I think, now we just went to 5 minutes. So between 4 and 5 minutes away. We just have to make it there to be able to do our meeting at the casino, so that way we don't have to stop twice. But right now it is 58 degrees. It's actually colder now, and it is mostly cloudy, still some sun coming through, but it's going to be a good day. So I'm excited about today because I haven't been in this region for a while, and I'm going to play some blackjack today. I'm ready to go. I'll be back. Alright guys, just getting back in the car here. Get the internet turned on, do a little bit of work, and then we're going to move on. But it was a pretty bad experience in there because guess who's coming to dinner? The Chinese people are coming to dinner. Unfortunately for me, they were just kicked out of the area that I don't go to, and they were quickly replaced by some other Chinese that appears, and now they are coming here. The guy told me that his daughter lives in the area, and they're going to start coming here to play. So that's really bad for me, which kills one of the few areas that I have left. That's not very good at all. So we're going to have to figure out what to do if they do that. I don't know for a fact that they're going to do that, but these are the people that will never leave the casino. They just stay and stay and stay. So I'm pretty worried about what's going to happen there. Interesting, my Teams hasn't updated. Actually, it was a meeting that guy replied to. So, could not get in on, wow, where's the thing at? Meeting chats. Oh, it's a different tab now? Oh, this is terrible. I'm going to have to put it all on here. So, couldn't play any blackjack. Nothing was available. And then slots wise, there was a bunch of us, and then we saw the Chinese guy with his wife, and then he came up to me later and told me that they're going to start coming here now. So that's not a good thing. I played slots over the last couple hours and ended ahead 318 so far for a couple hours. Not bad. Um, but at this point, I have a little bit of work to do in the car. I promised this guy like an hour ago I was going to work on this. So I'm going to take care of this and then head back in there and see if we can find some more. But hopefully get some blackjack in, but right now it doesn't look good. The other choice would be to wait until the shift change, which isn't for 5 hours. So I don't know if that's a very good idea either. So right now I'm just going to sit in the car, take care of some work, and I'll be back to update you. Plus 318. All right, guys, just packing up here, finishing up in the car, and we're going to get back to work. So I put this laptop down and go make some money. So wish me the best. I'll be back. All right, guys, a little while later, and not really much happening. Ended up splitting a play. That was the only thing I could find, and ended up making $15, 15 more. So we're up whatever, 330, 340, whatever it is. So yeah, not much happening right now. I'm gonna go grab some food. I have a decision to make: either wait around for some hours for the next shift, or come back tomorrow, or not, or go somewhere else tomorrow. And then Friday I have a longer journey as well. So I'm gonna grab some food and see what's going on at home, and then I'll make my decision and let you know. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. Stopped in, got some food, some vegetables, and some stuff to eat here, and feeling pretty good. Some cheese, bread, stuff that's good for me. Not a lot of protein, though. I will do that on the way home, most likely. And thinking about heading back to the same spot again. It's still about 4 hours from the shift change, though, so that's what I'm trying to decide right now. I do want to talk about, you know what? Let's head toward home, because it's going to be a long time. I'm going to have to wait in the car. Let's talk about something different here. Someone had emailed me about how to pick the casinos that they're going to play at. So going back to card counting, slot machines, whatever it might be, and I did an episode about this in the first season, but I know not everybody goes back and listens to all the episodes. I do suggest that no matter where you are, that you go back to the beginning and start from the beginning. You're going to get a lot of valuable information that I learned as I was experiencing these things. So number one, let's say the area that I went to last week. How did I pick the place, and how did that go down? So first thing I did is decide where I'm going to go, what region of the country I'm going to go, and then I looked up all the different casinos in that area, and then I put all those casinos in my favorites as I was going through them and deciding to go to them. So on Google Maps, you can put a place in favorites, and I think I have 350 or so. I have to double check. Anyway, let me take a look here real quick. But I have a lot of casinos in there, and that's because these are all places that I've been to. So let's see here. I have actually I only have 200 places, 200 different casinos that I've been to. That I know are good places to go, that I can make money at, either counting cards or slots or something else that I do. So once I find a casino, I put it in my favorites, and then I decide the route that I'm going to take. what shifts, what times, all those different things. So I say, okay, this region has 5 casinos. I'm going to go this route, and then I'm going to do the route backwards to hit the other shift, and then I'm going to go through the route one more time, and that way I hit all 3 shifts. That's one possibility that could happen. Then when I actually find a casino that I want to visit, what do? Well, first thing I do is when I pull into the park, first I want to look at the map and see the layout of the place. I'm going to see the roads around it. I'm going to see the restaurants around it, the gas stations, the safe places that I could be, and decide, am I going to park on their property or am I going to park somewhere else and I'm going to walk? Once I do that, let's say I decide to park on their property. I need to decide whether or not I'm going to expose my license plate. So, as I've discussed in the past, and if you have questions, you can email me, but I've talked about it quite a few times. Go back and listen, obviously, but I have a license plate cover. License plate cover is something that I created using a generic license plate, like a plastic plate that you can get at a dealership, and then also the frame that goes around that plate. And I used super glue, and I super glued that plate onto that frame so it became one solid piece. And then I put magnets where the 4 screws that go into my license plate would be, so that I could put this plate over my license plate, and the magnets would grab onto the top of the screws or the bolts connecting my license plate to my car. After I super glued those on, I also taped them on as well, because sometimes they're really strong and pulling on it will actually rip them off the license plate. So I got all that taken care of, and then I decide whether or not I want to use that license plate at this place. So for example, there's certain casino companies that I've been backed off of 4 or 5 casinos. I really don't want them to have my license plate number, because in case their facial recognition recognizes me, then they're going to see my license plate, then that's going to be in a system, and I have to go get a new license. Well, luckily for me, it's very easy to get a new license plate in my city. Unfortunately, the car is not in my name, because I don't want them to know my name in case we have crooked cops like we do in some places, like people have experienced in Mississippi, people have experienced in Louisiana, people have experienced in New Jersey, in New York, all these different places. There's been these crooked cops that would pull you over and get your or just run your plate and get your information. Obviously, if they pull you over, that's a different thing. I'll talk about that too. So I decide, okay, I'm going to cover my license plate. Let's take a sidebar here real quick. We'll come back to this. What if a police officer pulls you over and wants your ID so that he can give it to the casino? Now, my car, like I said, is not in my name. So if he just runs the plate, he's not going to get my name. So he's going to pull me over, get my name, and give it to the casino. Okay, first of all, first question I would ask is, hello, officer, what crime have I committed? Or why are you pulling me over? He's going to say something like, you know why I pulled you over? And he wants you to say, I counted cards, I was speeding, I ran through a red light, I didn't stop at a stop sign, something like that, so you can incriminate yourself. We're not going to do that. We're going to say, I'm not a lawyer, by the way. I'm just giving you my opinion. Do your own research, talk to your lawyer. But what I'm going to say is, what crime have I committed? And if he doesn't have a crime, he doesn't get my license. Now, if he threatens to arrest me without my license, that's a different story. I need to have that on video. First of all, you can have your phone recording. The Supreme Court has ruled that you're allowed to record in public, and they have also ruled that you can record public servants in them doing their job in public. So a police officer pulls me over, I have the right to record that interaction. So they demand ID. You say, no, I haven't committed a crime. They say, if you don't give it to me, you're going to jail. That's the key word that you want, because now they just violated your Fourth Amendment rights. They forced you to give ID under threat of arrest. You give them your ID, you can definitely sue the cop. They give your ID to the casino and you're screwed. They're going to put you in some system. So I'm trying to avoid all this stuff. Generic license works really well. One time I had a temporary license plate for a long time because they had to reissue it because my plates weren't ready. And I traveled around with dirty windows on purpose with a license plate hanging in the window that no one could read. Not even me putting my nose up to the window could I read it, and didn't have any issues, didn't get pulled over or anything like that. So by me having my plate covered for a quarter mile or so to get from a gas station to the casino, I'm not too worried about, although I'm always uncomfortable until I take the license plate cover off. I know I covered a lot of stuff there. If you want me to go into more detail, just email me and I'll do that. So I go into this casino. A couple things are going to happen. Either they're going to ask you for your ID or they're not. They're going to have a scanner for you to walk through, or they're not. Best case scenario, there's no scanner, there's no ID questioning or anything. You walk right in, you do your thing. If there is a scanner, facial recognition could be built into it, because some of these new metal detectors have the facial cameras built in. Not much you could do. You might be screwed. I mean, I went to one place a couple months ago. I think it was like season 5, episode 69 or 70, 69 or 68 maybe. As soon as I walked in, they knew who I was, and they came up to me within a minute or two with a trespass notice with my name on it. Not much you could do. You can try to do different things to cover yourself up so that they don't know it's you, like covering your ears and some other things that you can look up online, or you can ask me for details. But this stuff's all been out in the public for a long time. So, and I've talked about it before. I don't want to go into a million details and have all that, right now. So, if they ask you for ID, you can give them your ID or you can leave. Some places, like certain properties that I go to, will put your ID on like a clear piece of glass. There's a camera down there recording. They're recording the names of all the people that came in there. Some of them have facial recognition, and they may or may not stop you if they're looking for you. And some of them, they have just the metal detector, and you want to go through that. They have a regular metal detector that may just detect weapons. They have specialized metal detectors where maybe they could tell what's in your pocket as far as change or a cell phone or a gun or a pipe or a knife or anything like that based on the metal composition of it. Now, is it 100% accurate? No. I can 3D print a weapon, but obviously I'm talking about, for the most part, they can try to figure out what's in your pocket. Now you get into the place. When you were looking at the place from the outside, from the maps and all that, you were taking note of how many exits there were. When you walk into the place, the first thing I do is go to the restroom. I take note of the exits as much as I can. I go into the restroom. I figure out my orientation, what things I saw around me. I saw the steakhouse. I saw the whatever restaurant before I came in, and I know this is the door that I need to leave. A lot of these places are square or have similar looking entrances and exits, and you may end up leaving from the wrong exit and you're far away from your car. So kind of figure out where you are and where you need to go to leave. If you're forced to leave out of a door that you don't want to, that's a different story, but I like to kind of orient myself. I'm going to walk around the entire casino and do at least one lap, if not more, and figure out where the tables are or the slot machines are that I want. I'm going to take note of the people who are working there. I'm going to take note of what they're doing, if they're watching people, if they're not, if there's security guards, if there's police officers, all those things. I'm going to take note of those things because I don't want someone watching me check machines. I don't want someone keeping an eye on me that, maybe would get information about me that I don't want exposed just yet. Once I walk around and I get the lay of the land, I know where the doors are, I know where the tables are, I take a look at what tables there are, what the rules are. I've already looked up the rules before I came in, and I take a look at the tables, see how busy they are, and decide whether or not I am going to play. If I'm going to play a table game, then I'm going to sit down. I know how much I'm going to buy in. Usually, like on a blackjack table, let's say $25 limit, I'm going to buy in for $200. even a $50 table, I'm probably only going to buy in for 500 or 300 or something like that. I don't want to buy hundreds of units because that's suspicious. I don't want them keeping an eye on me. I don't want them suspecting me. So if a person came to your table with 6 units, you're not worried about what they're doing, because how much could they possibly raise? So I buy in for a minimal amount. I play. When the count goes up, you can always buy in for more. When you run out of money, you can buy in for more, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to play. I'm going to keep an eye on the pit. I'm going to keep an eye on the dealer, the other customers, their demeanor, if they're watching me, if they're not watching me, if they're calling on the phone, all those things. I'm doing all those things at the same time as I'm playing, as I'm keeping track of the count, as I'm keeping the true count, as I'm doing my deviations, my betting, my normal blackjack, basic strategy, all that stuff. I'm doing all these things at the same time, and you'll get better at it as you're going along. Once I finish up at the table, I know from doing research generally how much I can cash out without ID. If not, I have a general idea based on the area that I'm in, what the norms are for that area. So I am going to go cash out. If I know the limit is 3,000, maybe I cash out 2,200. Maybe I go to a different cashier. Maybe I go to the poker area and cash them out. I know that I'm not going to, what happened here? That's kind of odd. Let me just reset this. So, give me 1 second here. Okay, sorry. As I was saying, I know how much I can cash out, and I do the right thing and kind of split it up where I have to in order to cash out without them asking me for ID. I want to avoid all those things as much as possible because I value my privacy. That's, if you don't get back off, of course. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get some gas. I'll be right back. All right, so now I've cashed out my chips. If I played slots, obviously I want to be really careful when I'm checking slots so it's not obvious that I'm checking slots. I'm watching to see where the people who work there are, other customers are. I'm not going to go up right next to another customer and be messing around with the machine right next to them and bringing up suspicion or making people uncomfortable or anything like that. I want to keep things as clean as possible, and I don't want to wear out my welcome or have anyone complain about me. When I'm done, I'm going to figure out in advance what I'm going to do next. Am I going to the bathroom to count my money? Am I going to the car? Am I getting something to eat, something to drink? I know what I'm doing before I do it. I cash out my chips, and I get out of there generally as soon as possible and don't cause a stink and don't make a big deal. I'm cordial. I'm nice. I say hi. I nod my head to people and just keep it as nice as possible when I'm interacting with other people. So I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm aggravating people and then I lose money because of that. So, and these are some of the skills that I've used to be able to go to places for many, 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 many years and not get backed off for a long time. Now, there are very, very few exceptions to that. As far as I'm concerned, you could always burn a place down if you want to. And by burn a place down, I don't mean burn it down. I mean just play there until you're no longer welcome. Bet big, spread big, do all that kind of stuff. You can do that. That's just never been my way, even the places that I'm not going to visit again for a long time. So these are the basic things that I do. And before going to a place, I know where the entrances and exits are. I know what's around it. I know the rules of the game. I know the general limits of the game. I know what the dealers are like. I've asked some people about an area. I have an idea of what I'm walking into. I'm not just going into a place and I spend 4 or 5 or 10 hours getting to or flying to and then get there and they don't have blackjack or something like that. Now, there are rare times where I've gone on a tour, where say, okay, I'm going to hit everything in this state. I'm going to hit everything in that state. That's different. And I wouldn't have done as much research because sometimes they have little tiny places and I'll have a general idea of my path, but I'll just say, okay, closest casino. Okay, I've been to that one. Let's go to this next closest one. Let's go to this next closest one. go from place to place to place. Those times are fun, but I don't do them as much as I used to anymore. Right now I'm trying to fine tune and just glean as much money as I can out of things. So, but if you're new, I really urge you to take the time to figure out what you want out of a casino, what your game is, be practiced in it, know that you're the best at it, that you know all the rules, you know what to do, what not to do, you know the tolerance of the casino you're going to, you know everything about that casino before you go to it, and that way you can have the best chance to be prosperous. Do we always win? No, but if you do all those things, then you have a really better chance of surviving and winning. Certain games are going to be easier. Blackjack, maybe you win half the time, maybe a little more, a little less than half the time. Slots, maybe you win most of the time. Other things that you can do that you could win a lot of the time. And it's all dependent on what your skill level is and what your bankroll will tolerate and things like that. So I don't know if that was confusing or not, if that was going too fast or not, but that just gives you a general idea of what I do, what I look for. And the casinos that I went to, I actually hit like a very large number of casinos, and I had researched a lot of them before I went there, and I knew what I was expecting before I got there. So I thought I'd throw that in there. So anyway, that's where we are right now, and let me get down the road here, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, real quick, let me add this, okay? And again, this is my experience, and this is what I do, and this is, you have a lawyer, get a lawyer, whatever, ask them for their experience and their guidance about what they would do. However, this is what I know, and this is what I go by, okay? This is just me. If you are going to get trespassed, they may ask you for your ID. And you're going to respectfully decline, and you're going to leave. If they're going to do that, they're going to ask you for your ID, I'm not going to go to the cashier, right? If they're asking me for ID before I try to cash out, I'm not going to the cashier, because they're going to hold your chips hostage. You were smart enough not to get large chips. Hopefully 500s or smallers is all the chips that you have, and you can come back later, you can send someone in later, whatever you have to do to cash your chips. But you don't have to give them your ID. They're not police. They're just other citizens just like you. If you're handing over your license, then you're giving them all your information, and why would I do that? Now, let's say they tell you have to leave. You go straight to the door and out, and you leave. That's what I do. Now, sometimes I've gone the long way to the door because I don't want them to see my car. So I've gone out the front door and then walked down the street or something. But sometimes you're at a resort or something where they're going to know that you're parked there. They're going to figure out what your car is anyway. At that point, hopefully you've got your plate on like I do, and you don't have to stress too much about it. And all they have is a car description, which I've got little decals I can move around on my car, take it off, put a different decal on the window, a little saying, a little whatever, and make my car look slightly different. They don't have my license, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, if they call the police, and they have the police meet you at the table, and the police ask you for your ID, you can say, what crime have I committed? And they say, well, these guys are trespassing you, I need your ID so I know who to trespass. And you say, respectfully, you don't need my ID. If you're trespassing me, you can just say that I'm trespassed, and I can leave. You have to allow me the opportunity to leave. And you try to walk out. And if they push the issue, and they are trying to force you to give ID, again, that's a Fourth Amendment violation, illegal search and seizure. They have to give you the opportunity to leave. Are they going to follow you out to your car like they did with my friend 5 a.m. and pull you over? Maybe, if they're crooked, but you know what? The minute that happens to me, I'm filing a lawsuit. I don't care if everybody knows who I am. First name, last name, address, everything. I really don't care if I'm doing something that's for the good of our community. So I will not be giving my ID on a trespass, no matter what. If they threaten to arrest me, and I have it on video, they're threatening to arrest me. It's a Fourth Amendment violation. I will give it to them then. I'm probably going to lose my anonymity because they're probably going to give it to the casino. They're violating the law. I will sue them. I don't care if they're making $10 or $15, $20, $30 an hour. I don't care what they're making. And I don't care if my attorney says, well, you'll never collect anything because they only make $15 an hour. So what? They should have thought about that before they violated my rights. And on top of that, if they work for a police department or they work for an Indian casino or an Indian police department, 99% of the time, that department is going to pay for any violation that they did and not them. So don't think that it's going to be them, and it's really not going to be the police station paying for it. It's going to be their insurance paying for it. So I don't feel bad at all. Maybe they'll learn a lesson and not violate other people's rights. Instead of what happened with my friend, they're going to continue to violate other people's rights because they're emboldened by what happened there. So he had a crooked lawyer, he had crooked police, and he had a terrible judge. And all of that combined with him being a foreigner made things even worse. And I feel terrible for him. That's a terrible thing to happen to a really nice guy, and I hope it doesn't happen to other people. But believe me, I will be pushing the issue if it happens to me. So anyway, continuing my trip, I'll be back.